to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckled up. Rough roads ahead. So I engaged in focusing after they flipped their trigger because they actually cast additional spells and everything. So by doing that, I'm killing out their demons that they project. And once upon a time I could, and I'd have to just turn around. I believe I was drugged. Like they think they're going to trigger the pain syndrome by doing this. I was drugged into it. So again, that's the only way that they're going to do that again. Although I do have pain, it's not where it was. Again, they're drugging people. There's no law enforcement on the planet. They'll point to a law enforcement system and tell you how well it is, but it's a scam. Because when push comes to shove and they're needed and the spy entity says no, then they won't engage in law enforcement. And I'm sure you've seen it. And it's no little thing. It's happening a lot more than you know. Again, every case, most likely every case where a person shoots their family and they kills themselves is them psychologically operating that person, sometimes for 30, 40 years. Now they'll tell you, well, it's a big case. It's a cold case. They're clowns. They're clowns and devils. Don't give them respect. Spit on them. And they try to explain it away that way. If you don't want to spit on them, spit on the ground. So they see you spit every time they say it. That's spycraft communication. That's what they do to other people. So just to let you know, the Palestinians were wrong. But so are the Israelites. Israel. You see, they're trying to get this in my mouth. Out of here, all of you. You're fake Israel. You're all fake Israel. Hashem didn't bless one goddamn thing that you all did. Because it's all damned. There was a lot of energy expended to bring peace in 2007. They killed everybody and anybody that was expending that energy. And of course, where does that energy come from? From God. So again, the same thing with the Ukrainians and the Russians. What they really are. Spy gives them too much credibility, but they sell out. They're sellout criminals. The cold case investigators are extortionists, psychological murderers. They take cases from people that pay them not to investigate them and put them on people that they're paid to kill. That's how they do it. They're sick. And they sexualize people. They're very skilled at sexualization. You know why? Because they're whores. And they will people to have sex with them in their lifetime, so they know how to protect that sexuality. But when they were young and when they were, I'm just going to the bar and we're dating, and it's bullshit. They're willing people down and forcing them into sexuality. Now it's to the point where they have a network of people that will attack a woman or a man to have sex with who they say they should have sex with, including those people. Again, that guy from Facebook, he's part of something big. He's part of your police department. He's part of your spy entity. He's part of Mossad. He's part of the settlers. They'll go screw with people when they're paid to go screw with people. And they don't even care. Some of them get off on it. And what they're screwing people, what they're doing is called spycraft. And you don't want to they tell people there's a way out. There's always a way. Oh, now he's done too much. When people figure out that there was never any way out, there's, oh, he did too much. But you want to make it so there's no way out and play that freaking game? There's going to be no way out for the world, man. No way out. For every single person on this planet. You want to do it to one person, it's going to happen to every single person, and it's already starting, and you know it. So they sent this guy around and was talking like he's my buddy for a while. And he goes, who's going to stop him? You! And then he pulls off, you know. No, I'm not going to stop them. God will. God's already killed millions and millions of them. Floods, earthquakes, plane crashes, war. They don't care because they're the salvation of our world. And God loves them because they have money. See, that's the part about Rabbi Jesus, that if they get you not to listen to Rabbi Jesus, then you don't know what's actually happening. Because it was an update. And that update is very valid because it's what affected Rabbi Shimon and his son and Rabbi Akiva. Let me turn the vibration on here. They did that woman with the like they call it adult massager. They used to call them, I guess, vibrators. I was like, adult massager, what is that? So it's like my new chair here. They did her. They get paid to do people. Now, of course, it isn't Mr. What's his name? Jassy? Or Jass, whatever it is. Wait, Jass is the trans woman, right? Or it's Jass or something. Mr. Jassy's not involved, and Bezos is not involved. The question is whether, and they're probably part of it somehow, but they're past that kind of stuff. I think when Bezos got in, it was probably very little that he had to do. Right, that was early on, like in the 90s, early part of this century. Now, if spies didn't prop up Bezos, he wouldn't have got anywhere. So they sit there and they kill Palestinian families and psychologically bap them and just oppress them all day long using known methods. Again, they're creating psychological prison camps, warfare prison camps in open community. So they know the effects. They knew something like this could happen. Look, the Pulse nightclub shooting. It's exactly what that was. They created it out of thin air by harassing and psychologically torturing. So they try to put the word harass in my mouth. It's not just police harassment. This is psychological torture and prisoner of war camp technology. With a little bit of, it isn't even honest in that regard because it's all corruption. There's nothing left, man. The police departments are fakes. That's why you can't stop narcotics. I got a massage unit going. It's okay. It's the ones that massage it, not massage. I mean, what's that place called? No Judgment Gym. Planet Fitness. I just healed one. They actually have better massage units, but I mean, it's I guess better than nothing. It's not the vibration massage you get on the cheapos. It's actually why I bought this. See if it would work. It works a little, but it doesn't dig in enough. It's called a blue whale chair. It's made for fat people and tall people. I guess I'm neither, kind of, but it's nice to have a big chair, I was almost too short for the chair. It doesn't drop all the way down. I figured it'd drop down and it just had a higher lift. I'm like minimum height for this chair. Let me change the time on this thing, make sure it doesn't go off. Yeah, it's like a real massage unit where they got the thing that spins around, and they need to be sharper, though, like narrower. That's my. Actually, I didn't put. I have a recliner thing on this. I didn't put it out. I got my foot up on my wagon that has my skill saw, not skill saw. My what's that thing called? My Cobalt miter saw, battery power miter saw. The things are great. And I think it looks like a urban industrial pole vault stick, doesn't it? But this is the point. If you're not going to let everybody live, then nobody's going to live. That's really the truth of God. In fact, God would like them to live, but he can't get your victims to live because you keep making deals with Satan on this planet. Again, there's important updates with Jesus, and if you don't want to listen to Rabbi Jesus, that's fine. And the church said, a lot of it, the spouse, you're just not willing to accept that they said it. You spelled the Palestinians into that, and then you psychologically operate them. So they pay all this government money to like the settlers and all that to harass the Palestinians. They make them rich and happy. And now I'm a kibbutz guy. It's kind of sad that it hit the kibbutz, but there's repercussions for what you're doing. You're not protected by God just by the nature of being Jewish. It's like by the nature of being a cop that you're going to get into heaven. I mean, it's insanity. The whole Torah tells you that God's not a respecter of persons. So even if somebody in Palestine does, or the Palestinian organization or nation, whatever, does something, if you spell that person and curse that person and psychologically manipulate that person, and they become what you say they shouldn't be, but all along you're making them that, they're not in trouble with God. Now, they may be a little grieved when they get back to heaven. People that actually killed a baby could be let go when at the end of the life at the heaven and all that. Because if they're possessed, they're possessed. You curse people. You see the effects of cursing people, but you all want to sit there and act like it doesn't exist. How psycho are all of you? You got money. You got money from magic. You curse your neighbor does something stupid and then gets arrested, right? In this case, your neighbor is the Palestinian. No, there's no accidental pranks going on here. And there's no pranks going on. Again, you want to call it those things, then you'll suffer the plagues that the others are suffering also. I'm not here to tote a party line scam. Matt Schlapp is a good conservative Christian, that kind of party line. Matt Gaetz, he's a stand-up conservative. He believes in God. I'm not here to play that. It's the same with those cops out there. Same with those spies out there. Remember the orgies? Again, they want to bring in Clinton and say it has to do with, let them do with Clinton. It has to do with the deep state. Those people that work for Clinton that were those sex orgy people, that's the deep state, man. And it's also Republican. That's who's out here sexualizing people. People that were overseas having orgies in the State Department. Or here having orgies in Homeland Security. That's who's out there sexualizing people. That's their forte. It's satanic. You sexualize somebody and you have a good orgasm tonight with 7 women or 7 guys, whatever you want. That's Mossad. That's CIA. That's NSA. Marshal Service, FBI, Police Department. Although some people, you might just want one this week and one next week. Make deals with Satan for that. I didn't know that's what you were doing. It's always a mystery to me what the hell you all were doing. The government of the United States, federal, state, local, denies marriage, denies relationship, and denies marriage. It's in the scriptures. That would happen. There were some Jews that they call them Christians, but I don't even know if they were called Christians, honestly. Christians is a modern term. It's post-Jesus. It's actually even post-Paul, because that's not the words they used. That's the words modern people attributed to the translation in the Bible. It's actually called a messianic community. That's actually, when they say church, the words that came out of Jesus' mouth and Paul's mouth was generally the Messianic community. Or assembly, the Messianic assembly, that's it. They were called the Messianic assembly. It wasn't called church. It was called the Messianic assembly. It's a scam. The church is a scam. They worship Israel but hate Judaism. They actually said, well, this guy is crazy. This is somebody saying that's Kabbalah. Not crazy. Jewish magic and Kabbalah. This is not crazy. So they actually hate Judaism, but they love Israel. What do they love about Israel? Ooh, make money off of that. Oh, Israel. Oh, here's some money. That's how it works, man. Like online, I support Israel. Why does that person support Israel? Well, the stocks went up when they said I support Israel. Or something in their life went changed positive. Not God. Don't call yourselves God. Don't call spies and criminals that run rackets God. Do I hate Israel? No, I love Israel. I hate fake Israel, yeah. They're scumbags using spycraft to manipulate people's psychology, sexuality, you name it. They're sick. Like I bought this monitor. It's so funny because Overland Park has some power. I think it's the Jews that live around here. I think that's what it is. Because I bought this monitor years ago. I got it replaced, and it's still. And now the HDMI went out on it, but I can still use USB-C. I can use an adapter if it's if I have to adapt from HDMI. But most of my stuff's USB-C video, and it's like I'm figuring out how to use it. All those years I couldn't. Like all these little neat little things. Like right now, it's like it was a high level. Small monitor. I mean, 50. I think it's 15.6, but it's real thin. Like a portable monitor. And it had like the color palette and the high definition and all that. But I just was looking through the menu. I'm like, oh, what's this HDR? Bink. Oh wow! I was missing all this color. Right. So again, that was them. That's their curses. Again, if I buy something, they curse it instantly. If I look for something, they curse it before I buy it. Why do we do this? We hear you cursing us. I was totally asleep when they started. Totally asleep. Most ignorant man on the planet when it comes to being awake. And it took me a lot of years to actually curse them. But God said, that's it. And actually, about 5 years before I started telling you, look, there's going to be a drop dead date here. You need to be. No, actually, it was probably. Oh no, I was waiting for that. It was like 10 years before. So I was saying, this isn't going to go on forever. There's going to be a certain point when God's going to react. Like my health drops below a certain level, or my age beyond a certain point, and it kind of both hit at the same time. Well, because the system, I explained it before, the system on Earth is a bullshitter. So they'll go, all they got to say is in the head, these people that have the money, these FBI people that work for Silicon Valley, these CIA people work for Silicon Valley, these Mossad people that work for Silicon Valley or Blue Cube or Black Cube or something like that. What they do is they're devils. And they say, well, he's got time for a good life. He can still walk. So Earth buys into that. But at a certain point, it's kind of like screws them because at a certain point, Earth just freaks out. But why does Earth freak out? Because all of a sudden God's curses start hitting. And God's plagues. So I told them, I said, look, there's going to be a certain point where there's nothing really left for me. I mean, I'm going through the motions of life, but, I'm supposed to have a life here. This is the deal you made with God, all of you. This is the secret of religion. This is how you know religion's corrupt. Again, I am Raziel, but if you don't believe that, I don't really care because it doesn't really mean anything to me. It's just something God did in history with my name, with my knowledge, again, it's God's knowledge, but what God gives me and all of that, it made it into this Raziel angel character. So I can tell you how everything works. So this is how religion works. if you don't know this, but angels, I don't know if all the angels know it. I knew it. I knew somebody others probably knew it. If we look at a religion and people are falling in that religion, then the religion's bullshit. There's devils in the religion causing them to fall. Because God's religion is perfect. God's protection is perfect. The only way that it fails is Satan enters in. The only way Satan can enter in is with devils within the religion. So when you point at people and saying they're falling, two things trigger. One, your religion's bullshit right now. It's not the real religion because you're causing people to fall. Somebody's causing people to fall. But generally, if you say it and point at it, that you smelt it, so you dealt it, which means you're the one causing people to fall or one of the people causing others to fall. Again, if you read the New Testament, it has a lot of this information. The people that are really Jewish and grew up Jewish and have the Orthodox community, they should know about Jewish magic. I'm not going to say everyone. And they should know how that works. But then again, you're double-minded. Well, look at that guy over there. He's a sinner. Well, how's he a sinner? Well, I don't know. Well, what'd you say about him last week? Yeah, his car jumped in front of my car. Like ours do. And that's it. That's why he's a sinner. But yet, if we go back to Ezekiel 34, those people that, a lot of times, like people in the church are good for this, and probably some synagogue people too. When we look at Ezekiel 34, they're the oppressed. We're the oppressed. We're not the shepherds, we're the oppressed. The oppressed are the sinners. So that's the magic and majesty of his. Oh, look, they're so mad. My massage unit fell like the control. Occurs to me. So this is the majesty and the magic of, I'm bringing it on myself. Bullshit. Bullshit. What, you think I'm going to let you be now? Just because you said that? That's a scam. Oh, you bring it on yourself if you just change it. Hit you twice as hard if you shut up. Oh, at this point, right. See, again, try to put it back on me. But this is the majesty and magic of Ezekiel 34. All the people that God takes personally under his own control and favor are the sinners. The broken. And you see, Jesus says something in the scripture that's really interesting. He says, I didn't come to seek and save the righteous. I came to seek and save those that were lost. And people in church don't get it when they cast stones on everybody else and call themselves righteous. It means Jesus didn't come to save them. Again, it's kind of a double-edged statement there. But of course, they own all the churches, the big mansion churches they built. I don't think Jesus authorized the church building. I really don't. Because what happens is you can be controlled by Satan. However, I do admit today, a workman is not paid their wages. So there needs to be some sort of sustenance. When Jesus tells his people not to take any money with them and just go out and live, it's not possible today. Satan changed the world so that would not happen. 1 in a million, you might be able to, run a ministry that kind of people take you in and pay you at a certain point, but it's not everybody. Again, that's Satan's trick. Oh, that evangelist over there, he just, that's all he does. He doesn't take any money with him. Everybody pays him and he eats and has a good life for him. But it's a scam from Satan. It doesn't happen. So again, in your religion, God says, if you do this mitzvah, you get something, right? Generally, that's the consensus. What do you get? You might get holiness. You might get purity. You might get a wife. It's really how it works. But what do you think they're doing? They let it work for you, but not anyone else. Or, 15% of the people that Satan lets it work for. because he broke everything. Because you all sold the religions to Satan. So religion, once somebody does a good work in a religion and doesn't move forward within a reasonable amount of time, then your religion's fake. Because he's the person. No, it's not a game from God. It's like you all make God out to be psychotic. You all actually make God out to be psychotic. The shit you say about God. Oh, God's just testing your person over there. But he gave you a Mercedes, right? But he's just testing that person over there, right? I mean, you're psychotic, all of you. And your father is the devil. So what you're pointing at in your religion reveals you all as devils and reveals that your religions are fake and false. If you go into a church or you go into a synagogue, there should be an up, not a down. Now, Satan will attack you, but if everybody else is having a normal life in there, you should have a normal life. But what happens is you walk into a church and it's like a cult. You walk into a synagogue, it's a cult. Like even normal-looking places. They're vampires. They're going to suck everything out of you. If you're real, that is. If you're one of them, boy, you'll move up quick if you're a devil. They need devils in there, you know. Get some more money, more sex. So again, when we look at Jezebel, when we look at Delilah, that's who these people are who are in Mossad. This is what these people do in the CIA. So you think God blesses that because they're doing it for Israel, right? You can't do that for Israel. Once you do that, you're no longer Israel. You're a Philistine. Isn't it funny I'm a short guy? Isn't God funny? Isn't God funny? I'm like 5'6". I mean, that's kind of short compared to other people, right? All right, I can't lie. 5'6" and 3/4. We're not tall. Did it say how tall David was? But God's funny. God, because when I woke up, God was free to tell me everything. Because, oh yeah, I always pick like the short guy. I think it's funny, you know. God thinks it's funny. Got 7-foot people around a short guy. And the short guy goes, big out of here. Yeah, you can't use things. So you see how the world's rigged, you know? I can't just walk up and break somebody's neck. I mean, I would if I guess we were in ancient Israel. So you have to use spells, man. And you have to like say certain things. And God's okay, you got to say that. I asked God one time, could we do it there? No, I can't do it. You got to use that word. It's the word they use. We got to use. Because even before, like, I'll go over what happened. I woke up, and God teaches me healing. Because that's my heart, you know, to heal people. So God teaches me healing and tells me some of the things I'm teaching you are like ancient stuff. And I'm just bringing it back because it works. Because the other stuff they sold and we can't use it. So like sometimes I have to use Jewish stuff. Sometimes I have to use Hindu stuff. Sometimes I have to use Christian stuff. Sometimes I just have to use something that nobody knows where it came from, but God showed it to me. And that's how we do it. So I'm going around healing people. And they ended up drugging me. And again, they got me into a certain situation. And I asked God what happened after it was all said and done. I said, God, what happened? I was healing people, and God said, they cursed you. I said, they cursed me? What's that? You mean it's real? So again, I started with a couple of light curses. I said, well, Paul cursed some people, Rabbi Paul. Jesus even cursed some people. I said, okay, maybe I'll try it. And I said, God, wouldn't it be better if we don't do that? And we just heal people. So I met many years just healing people. And I'm not like out there cursing people. I curse the thing that comes against me. If you're affected by it, be sure you're affected by it because you could be affected by something else. Satan is very tricky. However, if you're affected by it, then you did me. And who cares what you all think or say? Only their families matter. They're psychotic, man. It's just like it's in Israel too. Only their families matter. There's like a double standard. Everybody else is like vermin, you know. So they get your family to believe that, you know, something's going on, that you know, they're saving. They get your family to believe that they're saving them by destroying you. That's what they do. They're very sick. And like I said, these family murders you see out there, suicide murders, that's them. A lot of people go, yeah, we know that. We just don't want it to happen to us, so we don't say nothing. Well, got to answer to God. It's one surety. Everybody will account for what they're doing. Well, it's biblical. What happened in Israel is biblical. So, Israel's not being protected right now by Hashem. Instead of asking themselves, what did we do wrong? They go, oh, everybody stand with Israel. I'll stand with God. And I'll go where God tells me to go. What is that thing doing? Looks kind of weird up on the screen. Oh, I don't know. So this volume is kind of weird. I'm hoping it's up loud enough. So I'm on my, was it XCM? I think it's my XCM 100. Nice Rode mic. Has all the the compressor, the digital compressor, not analog, digital compressor, digital noise gate, digital EQ. And EQ is a funny thing. It's called Aphex processing. It's interesting. I think it works well. So it has a noise gate. It has all this stuff. So again, they think we should care about their family. Like, I'm evil because I curse their family. But they're out there destroying families, destroying people, causing murder, causing suicide, causing prostitution, causing sexualization into rape and pedophilia, and they're okay. Well, what God eventually got through to me is it didn't matter if I cursed him or not because stuff was happening off of what they were doing to me. Kind of like this last Friday. There's a system on Earth. If Overland Park rule says you have to send the item back, I have to send it back. I could fight it, but I don't have the life I used to have, so I can't fight it. So they know this type of thing. And they laugh about it. He sent it back. This is who they are. Psycho bitches and bastards. And they're telling you about the wonderful science of Mengele that they developed. Oh, this is amazing. This fights every criminal. Believe me. Everybody knowing they're all crooks anyway, right? Dubas, I got psychology. And there's mobsters. You can see the mobsters are mixed in. But you see, there's a sex criminal over there. This is just, like narcotics distribution. But they're all in sex trafficking anyway. But that's how they play it. Many of them work for Putin. Many of them work for any spy agency in the world has people in each nation working. And that's who a lot of millionaires are. But they get enough people on board where they don't have to work them, but once in a blue moon. And there's a lot of cops and stuff. And they'll go, well, we're just doing it because we don't like this guy. Bullshit. You know what you're going to get for doing it. Your big job one day. Your big cash awards are ready, probably. They killed Bob. They know they laugh at sucker. They're like Trump. Loser. Wait till they get to hell. Some are already in hell. Some are dead, man. Some of these people that are on the border there, they're dead. They were spies. They work for spy entities. I'll go to New York City and screw somebody over for them. You got a guy, a rabbi turns into a child sex offender, they did him. There's no way that he just becomes that. Again, they'll go, whoa, our psychologists, your psychologists are full of shit. And they know they're full of shit. Psychology does exist to a certain degree, but there's a metaphysic behind it. But the thing is, some of the people that do it are the settlers, the military, Mossad, the police. So again, standing with Israel, well, I was standing with Israel, but that's not really Israel. It's not really Israel. There's nothing Israel about that place. Again, Hashem called it rote. We learn all this and do all this by rote. Just because they happen to be in a family and tradition, they got money. They don't give a shit about nothing. In fact, they curse God off. They hate God. Because they think Satan's God. They really do. But again, Palestinians have the same thing going on there. So again, the New Testament is very interesting. You probably should read it with a Jewish interpretation. You don't have to think anything about what the church is saying. But the only thing is, some of the words are not real. They're just made up. Like a church came along and said, okay, that says church. No, it doesn't say church. It says the assembly of the Messiah, or messianic assembly. But it actually says, it doesn't say church. These people put that word there. Yeah, it's the oral Torah. It's definitely oral Torah. You don't have to accept all. I mean, you don't accept all of Rabbi Emden. You don't accept. Some people don't accept all of Rambam. Some people don't accept this, that. Same thing. So Jesus knew he wasn't God because he said, "Don't call me good," because I said, "Good, you're good." He said, "Don't call me good. There's none good but God." So well, it's a Christian scam. It's a religious scam. We are everything, and everybody else is nobody. The latest scripture in, well, every knee will bow doesn't mean that everybody's a Christian. Jesus already told you that it had to do with more than just that fold. But I'll tell you right now, Jesus doesn't give a shit about anybody bending a knee or bowing to him, and just the way it is. He's not into that at all. I mean, you gotta realize lots happened. Phonies and fakes, he says. So he's just a rabbi, and whatever happened in his life. I can remember the thing is, if you don't believe, I don't remember how it goes, but if you believe everything that's in the Torah, oral Torah, and all that, then I forget what it says, but I guess you're naive or crazy or something. But it says if you don't believe any of it, then you're worse off. You're crazier. Right? And that's pretty much, God came along and gave me all this information. Every day, just more information. I really didn't read that much. And nobody taught me anything in any of the religions. I mean, really. I mean, I went there and kind of absorbed some of what they had after God already taught it to me. Because some of it's just basic spiritual knowledge and metaphysics. But it's presented in their system. But one of the first things God ever said to me when I heard God was, clearly with knowledge, God said, don't listen to any of them. They don't know anything. He says, listen to me, do what I tell you, and we'll bring a few people home with us. Because God's here in a spirit body. Again, God hasn't taken a physical form, but he has an appearance here now. And he's here, per se. So it's all happening. The thing this Christians spoke about is happening, but it's happening a little bit differently. But I don't understand. The problem is this. The whole Jonah thing is, Jonah didn't want to prophesy because if Jonah tells you a prophecy and says, if you don't change, this is going to happen, and you change, then it's not going to happen. Or even if he doesn't tell you to change and you change. If I tell you a prophecy right now, tomorrow it could change. If the world changes. So if I say, like I said before, bless the Palestinians, heal the Palestinians, the world would have changed if you actually did that. There's only two, Reagan said up and down. I don't know if he knew what he was talking about, but there's no left or right. There's only up and down. There's only healed and unhealed. And unhealed is cursed. That's all there is. My massager is like, I don't know, something going on with it. So when you look at somebody and there's a sinner in your midst and you're in a religion, there's something wrong with our religion. There's something wrong with us. He's not living the life that we're living. That's how it works. But see, if God told you everything, all these things that the angels and spirits figured out over the ages, they wouldn't have been able to figure out because you wouldn't have been speaking freely. Well, Jesus is Ben Elohim. That simple. But he just didn't have the title. He could walk the walk. That's all that is. I mean, Jesus is pretty much a Kabbalist. But he went to Jerusalem and they were sell-outist. They'd already sold out to Rome. So I think he was he Dan or something like that? I think there's some information where he's the tribe of Dan and Judah, I think, something like that. There's also something that says he's part Arabic. That God merged the lines of Ishmael and Isaac. Makes sense, right? It actually might be in my family also. I'm not sure. You can't tell by looking at me, but you can look at some of my other family members. But you see, they're not Islamic. Ishmael wasn't Islamic. Ishmael was not Islamic. The world, your minds are gunked up. So what happens is they got pushed out. Again, you see it other places also. Again, it's a very witchy world and everything is crazy. But what you all are used to is having a normal life while everybody else's life is crazy and you laugh about it. Some of you call them the sinners or the losers. What's happening now? Again, I'm not celebrating anybody's death, but I am celebrating that God is ruling as God needed to rule, and God knows that God knows how to rule. God is ruling that. Israel is deficient, has been deficient. Your spies are running around sexualizing people. and playing personal games. They're bound for hell. Them and their buddies in the CIA. Oh, but we got money. We're winners. So again, when you read about oppression and widows and orphans, you should include the Palestinians and the Arabs. And they should include you, but otherwise, it doesn't work. I don't believe spies thought it would get this bad. Right. But I think they wanted something. 9/11 was that. It got out of control. It's just like, what the thing in Garland. They were going to do the Patriot Act vote, and they were thinking of getting rid of it. What happens? A terrorist act in Garland, Texas. Coincidence, right? Everybody voted for the Patriot Act. Same thing, 9/11. That's what got it all started. But why did they do that? Hanson and Ames. They were paranoid. They wanted more reach. They wanted carte blanche to take people out. And one of the people they took out was Bob Levinson. That is. Another person is Bruce Schultz. Look on the PBA video. Connecting to Bruce, he felt drugged as a psychic. And there was some pretty high psychic moments in the era that I stumbled on the Bruce's case. So I did feel pretty good. I felt shitty, but felt the connection. Now, Bruce's widow, when she gets accosted verbally by another agent, as far as Bruce being a coward, there's two reasons for that. One, they were psychologically operating Bruce. What happens is the Russians drug Bruce, and there's backers within the FBI, shadow backers, and they set them on Bruce, and they start doing their psychological stuff against Bruce while he's drugged. And like, quote unquote, Bruce couldn't handle it. Again, they were just pranking Bruce. Ooh, it's digging in a little bit there. Found the spot. I was trying to get a Menards to get the rest of my stuff for my curtain brackets I couldn't get over in time. Because once I went and got the package, they started cursing me heavier. I'm looking at it to see if it's damaged anywhere. I don't know. Again, I have to wait for the rule to decide. Imagine sometime tomorrow they'll send a message whether I keep it or give it back. Actually. Well, I just don't have a life to fight the rule right now. I mean, it's an honest rule. It's never going to fight it. Because they'll take you all down for it also. That'll also happen. Obviously, the chief of police was taken down for being corrupt. It happens a certain way, yada, yada, yada. And then he moves on. Falling asleep here with the massager. All right, let's see. I gotta look at this. Let's see if I get the camera. It won't come out. There it is. I'm pretty dead psychically. I mean, I can see some things, but I can't just look at a case and start moving through it. Well, the Morphew case, it's probably a good time to start clearing, seeing if you can clear him completely. Right. He's not cleared completely. But if he somehow had a second person involved. Right. But if we can, if we're sure he didn't have the ability to contact somebody to take the body and put it somewhere else. Because you thought he dumped it somewhere. He could have gave that coordinates to somebody and they could have went got the body and then took it somewhere else. Again, so it could even been word of mouth. Well, that's the first thing is find the body. I know you have cases without the body, but most of those are screwy. Again, juries will, there's tricks to having juries convict somebody. I mean, it's not honest anymore. Again, it's pretty funny how my minute says, it's better to let a guilty man go free than, or to let 10 or something like 10 or 12 guilty men go free than to wrongly convict somebody. That's the way I feel. I've said that for years, something similar. It's unplugged for some reason. Well, we got to figure it out. This case is like stupid. I don't understand why it's still not solved. This is the one where I think it's the one where I said we missed some cameras. Some video. I just, you look at the organized crime, the sex trafficking, and all the deep state stuff going on, and they're part of it. The question is, are these people protected somehow? And that's why we can't get anywhere. Not saying any specific officer or agent is involved. Right. And like I said, when you sit back with a case, when I sit back and a case starts opening up, and they put it in the news, I'm thinking if we make too much. I think there was a case where we didn't say anything because we just said she was missing, please find her, that kind of thing. Because what happens is they might kill the kidnapped person, traffic person, whatever it is, right, just to get rid of the evidence. And the thing where the mother just goes crazy, my life was so crazy around the death of John Luna because they were trying to kill me too, right? Right. I mean, like my muffler flamed up all of a sudden, and I burnt my hand, and I have to go to get interviewed, But the thing is, I was probably being followed anyway. They probably saw it. Oh my God, Larry's car's on fire. But it was a cold winter. Oh, it's just horrible. They try. I'm in like that mode again. Like was able to repel it for years, but it's really gaining weight and trying to kill me. But I mean, it's Satan. I mean, the beast exists. They're running the world ragged. But God's responding. I mean, you celebrate when families are destroyed, all of you, and then you want us to mourn your families being destroyed. Now, is it every one of them? No, but I'm not going to be a respecter of persons. If the standard on this planet is that we celebrate when certain families are destroyed, then we celebrate when families are destroyed. That's all we do. I mean, y'all play this game too long, too deep to ever be accepted by anybody really with God. So that is what it is, and isn't what it isn't. I'm just, I'm kind of through mourning. I really am. Does it make me cold and callous? No. Makes me a realist. Makes me realizing the truth and acting accordingly. If you have a standard on this planet, you all are part of it, are going to get treated based on a standard also. I mean, people die in these big funerals. I'm like, what? Another schlep dies. Big deal. They get to be a big hero. Why? Because you all screwed up the world, so we need big heroes to save us. But are they really saving us? No, because they're part of the system that causes it to begin with. So one of the fathers comes out. He's a good guy. He says, maybe we need to relook at what we're doing here with Palestinians. But since then, they're fighting that. It was picking up steam. It was part of the thing that I was moving with God. So what do? Stand with Israel. If you don't stand with Israel, so now that father doesn't want to say anything because he's not standing with Israel. If he says we should redo, we should think twice about the treatment of the Palestinians. So now even one of the people who lost somebody, his daughter, now he's afraid to speak the truth that he feels because he won't be standing with Israel. It's real. This is the kind of shit they are. The big, our heroes, and we're going to revenge. Okay, Netanyahu, you scumbag. You did the right thing, we wouldn't be here. I told you years ago to get them settlers away, because that's what's finally killed it. First, they were attacking Omar. He couldn't get anywhere. They were doing the no confidence vote. Then all of a sudden, they started moving in the settlers right on top of the promised areas of the Palestinian areas. And then you could look at video after video of Palestinians being harassed by the settlers. And nobody wants to pull those up now, right? We just want to say, oh, they're just animals. Every one of those settlers in those videos should be looked up and arrested for what just happened in Israel. And then any military or Mossad handler that was with them should go to prison also. Because that's what that is. It's a psychological program to get them to act out poorly. That's what Pulse nightclub was. That's what they're doing in my life. Psychos. I should have got some ice cream or something. I forgot to get something to eat, like something like that. I was at Walmart. I should grab some ice cream. I got my mouthwash. Oh, she's got ice cream. Yeah, I just know. I don't know what to do about that case. I can't see anywhere. They're killing me. They don't want me to see. Because they probably using that case to psychologically torture 15 people who are innocent. If I solve it, then it goes away, right? Or at least give you enough hints. We still have that case. That girl, what was her name? Jewish girl, I think. Spear, Lawrence Spear. Love that case. I can't look at the file. I can't figure anything out past a certain point. The only question I had in that case is, did anybody have the opportunity to dispose of the body? But she could have been wrecked. There's so much that happened that night. If you study amnesia, alcohol, and she was using drugs, and then you hit your head, and she hit her head, that could cause her to forget even her own name. And then somebody could have took her and said, "You're my wife." People are messed up like that. Oh, you don't remember? You're my wife. We have sex all day. That's the way people are. Again, we talk about third party and an additional person that we don't know about. That's what wrecks a lot of cases. Because, like this case here, both of them could be innocent, just in a crazy world. When John died, there was so much shit going on. It was just crazy. Like when they found John was dead and like his lady frame came running in crime, my chief was just looking at me like, I can't believe this happened. And my chief thought he had everything under control, but Marshall was like stabbing him in the back, had launched some sort of behind the back operation. My chief didn't tell me anything. He just, his behavior around the Marshal was obvious. I was actually on that case for what, 24 hours. I guess when he came up missing, they put me on that case with that lady that wears suits. I forget her name. Trey doesn't want me to remember it. No, like everything was like turning into normal. Like I get introduced to the lady with suit that wears suits and her, I guess the other supervisor or something. Some was a black guy. Right. And they were nice people, I'm like, oh, okay. And the next thing I know, I'm being killed. No, it's like everything was going normal. I guess because I don't know. And maybe that's why they attacked too, when things get normal. Like I met John at the gym. That never happened. Like I never would, nobody would talk to me. His lady friend wouldn't talk to me. I was walking in. She was outside. She was freaked out. When she saw me, I'm like, what is that? I went in the gym and then there's John. John started talking to me, which probably spooked the shit out of the spooks. Right. Because they manipulate people not to speak to each other, that kind of thing. Like some dude offers me steroids, like in that same week, I think. Yeah, I think in that same week. So I wrote that up. My chief was like, what'd you do? They say I didn't hear that or something. I said, no, I wrote a report to the DA. I mean, I tell people, look, I take over the counter supplements. I'm in law enforcement. I mean, what else can I tell you not to offer me steroids? 100%. And I wore those blue shirts. Then they like made it illegal to wear the blue shirts into the gym. It could have been because they wanted to do me or something. I'm serious. It's that bad. There was national policy changes just to do me. I'll tell you that right now. Program and policy changes just to do me. That's how sick they are. Has nothing to do with any reality of law enforcement. Well, stay peaceful. Praise God in all to do. Praise God.